Oh, go Jack.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Yeah, so for anyone that was here at the last debate, basically, we're not going to tolerate any verbal outbursts in the positive or the negative. Keep your comments to yourself unless you're coming up here to ask a question. If you are disruptive, we will not hesitate to remove you from the premises. There are multiple ununiformed security guards who work for City Hall, and then obviously we have multiple uniformed officers as well. Yeah, there's Norway waving in the back. But yeah, we won't hesitate to escort you if you're going to be disruptive. So I appreciate everybody's cooperation. Let's have a healthy and informative debate, everybody.
You good to go.
Hello, everyone. I am Dr. Ruby Montgomery. I'll be the moderator tonight, so I will try to help, if you guys have questions, I'll be on the side as well. But we're going to go ahead and start with opening statements from the candidates. And up first is Daniel Marino.
Fine citizens of Los Santos, I present myself to you as a servant of your will. Personally, I never thought I would be putting myself forward for this. I love my job at the police department, but I love this city even more. Decided to set down my badge and pursue a career in politics at this time. And regardless if I do become your mayor or not, I would still offer my services to whichever candidate does win the mayorship, and help shape the future of this city. I do have my own plans and policies, but what is most important to me is that your voices are heard. I will be spending set hours in the mayor's office every week dedicated to talking to members of the public and hearing their ideas and concerns. But let us not forget how important it is for the population at large to hear from their government. I'll make sure we are working closely with the press to ensure that all of you are well informed. Now, some of you may think I'll have a bias toward the police department due to my time as a sergeant, but I assure you it will be a just and fair observation. I have a unique understanding of the PD's needs, but more importantly, the complaints. I was never afraid to voice my concerns or walk away from situations that I believed to be unnecessary. Fair justice was always at the forefront of my mind when I was policing. My expectations of the PD as mayor will follow suit. I'd only been a cop for 2 months. I've been a civilian much, much longer. Some sectors of importance to me I would be working toward would be transportation, increasing speed limits outside of the city, as well as making sure our public transport workers are fairly compensated for their time. Economic development, I look to create support systems such as shared office space for small businesses to operate from, as well as mentorship programs. And look to create relationships off the island for chances at exporting goods and allowing our businesses to make even more money for the time they put in. Transparency and community trust are also very important. Weekly meetings with the press and public to discuss matters at large, as well as facilitating and creating community outreach programs and events such as intramural sports leagues, concerts, etc. I won't get too much further into policies as the debate should cover most of it, but I do look forward to answering your questions and debating points with the other candidate. Thank you, Marino for mayor.
Yeah, nicely done, Mr. Marino. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Nathan Drake. I've been a doctor for 8 years now, and my sole focus has been helping citizens in cities such as yours and ours. I do agree with a lot of the things that Mr. Marino has stated as far as the economics, creating, communities. We all want to have abilities to plant roots, to make this city and give this city longevity. I, too, offer an open door policy that I can assure you will be opened around the clock. I will position myself not only at certain hours, but I'll make those hours open to 24/7. I won't be there personally 24/7, but I'll make sure to adjust my schedule so that everybody has an option to sit down and voice concerns. like Mr. Marino, I think the economy is something that should be focused on, but I can't really give anybody any promises because I'm not sure quite what the job is going to entail. And I think, at least for my own well-being, I think that that's what this first mayor is going to have to do. Lay the foundation for the future mayors to be able to come in, hit the ground running, and serve to the best of their ability. I think at this point, we need somebody that isn't tied to any one division, isn't tied to, allow for favors or accept favors in lieu of votes. I think I stand on my own, and I have been for quite some time. I consider myself to be very integritous. I don't make promises that I can't deliver upon, and I like to set a reasonable expectation. That being said, nobody really has a definition of what the mayor's duties are going to be, other than the fact that we're going to be part of conversations that lay down the groundwork as to what we're able to do and what we can absolutely finish and complete for the benefit of the citizens. Being a doctor, as long as I have, my sole focus is helping people, and the people that are out there every day trying to make a living, trying to adjust themselves to whatever the community's events and services are, people that participate. Now, my main focus is probably going to be on looking at things that are a problem, seeing a fix. We're all fairly intelligent when it comes to right and wrong. We were all hopefully raised to discern what the differences are. And it's my position, if chosen to be mayor or a leader and have any voice with regards to the city at all, is seeing the problem and making it expeditiously taken care of. Businesses should be opened if it makes sense without any kind of hesitation. I mean, there's always the ability to, pull back if something doesn't follow through, but give opportunities to the people. I believe that the community should take care of their own. You have communities and members that have opportunities in their own community. They're going to take care of those. They're going to treat them right, and everybody's going to benefit from that. I believe that laying roots in a city, in my opinion, that's what gives us longevity. All right. I think that there should be some statewide support for entry-level things, such as vehicles. Being able to afford a vehicle that you want, not the one that you have to accept because your funds are limited. The labor unions keep tabs and make sure that your ability to earn is regulated. I think there should be more opportunities, and hopefully it's driven by businesses. And the businesses are open through the Department of Justice and City Hall. And I hope that the delay is minimized so that you can get to work. You can make the money that you deserve to make. You can hire and enrich the communities in which you're involved. That being said, I haven't aligned myself with people that are going to ask me for favors. But I do want to hear from everybody in the community as to what their problems are, because I can't sit in your shoes and tell you what the difficulties are. But I can listen and do what I can once we can find exactly what the mayor's position entails. So I can't give you empty promises. I won't set expectations I can't deliver upon. And I will be devoted to work tirelessly and effortlessly to make sure that this city is all the things that we want it to be. Thank you for your time. Hopefully you guys make the informative decision to put in power who you think will do the best job for you. And I just want to end this thing by saying I'm a little surprised that the other candidates that have been speaking so vocally out there on the street haven't taken this last minute opportunity that you've provided us to voice the concerns and what they're going to do about it. Thank you for your time.
All right. So now we are going to go ahead and open up the floor to questions. If you have a question, please stand up and line up on either side of the stage here, and we will start fielding those questions. All right, sir. Come on up.
Pardon me.
Okay. Oh, careful.
What is your awareness of the alien presence in our planet? And what will you do to support cybernetic enhancement funding to save our human race? Thank you.
Cybernetic, that seems like a medical type question. Doctor, you want to take that?
Well, yes, if it was a serious question, I most certainly would. Personally,
Excuse
a man
me?
of science, I mean, I don't see any proof of anything being beneficial as far as cybernetic enhancements. I can't generally speak to that because I'm not involved in anything related to it. And instead of sit here and lie to you and make stuff up to, answer your question, I'll simply state, I think that if there is proof medically that things of that nature, are in place and being practiced upon, that I'm sure to whatever benefit might be down those rides based on the research, I'm all for it if it actually helps. But aliens, I think that's all preference. Do you believe in them or do you not? Up till now, I don't see any scientific proof other than the fact that the name is unidentified. I think there are a lot of things that go unidentified. So are they aliens? If you can produce one in front of me, yeah, I might side along with that and try to bridge some kind of a gap and start communications to see if things like that can be worked out with civilians. But until that day happens, I don't think I can support any of that.
Have you seen Madonna?
Yes, sir, but I don't see how one has anything to do with the other.
She's an alien.
Okay. Why don't you take the rest of that one, Marino?
I think you got it pretty good.
All right. I think if there's any other questions, okay. Is there anybody on that side, or go ahead and start over here again?
All right, you want me to just stand right?
Yes, right there is perfect. Go ahead.
What are your guys' thoughts on permanent positions in the city?
You want to go first there?
Yeah, I can.
We can't
You know,
hear
I-
you here in the back. What was the question?
The question
I
was,
asked if
what
there were
are
permanent positions in the city. What are their thoughts?
Pardon me?
as we all know, there are some permanent city council member positions as of right now, as well as some other positions throughout the state. There is that would be something I would talk to the city council about, see if there would be, a way to work in more elected officials instead of appointed. Obviously, as the mayor, everything I do has to kind of go through the city council, but that is something that I would discuss with the city council at length and try to understand if there was a way to make it an elected official, just like any city councilman should be.
That was if elected, right, Mr. Marino?
If elected, yep.
Okay, well, I would tend to agree, but personally, my opinion on permanency is that it leads to stagnation. I think that if you have a permanent position, you don't have the need to excel to necessarily look forward. All right. You can settle down and live on your laurels, and you can do business as usual. You're not looking to innovate because there's nothing that anyone can do to remove you from that situation. I think that every job should have some accountability at a certain level. And if people aren't doing and are no longer effective at their position, it should at least be up for the topic of conversation to put somebody in there that is, barring that they meet, certain experience levels and expectations. I think everybody, including the Chief Justice, all the way from the top to the bottom, should be evaluated. There should be limits on how long they can go without an evaluation. All right. Everybody should have the accountability of the decisions that they make. That being said, I think that they're probably working on that. And there have been a need to have permanent positions because the city is so new. So that being said, as long as everybody's willing to grow in an ever-changing environment, I think that things can be put into place to have that accountability that we need, as long as we have transparency and autonomy as well.
Okay, thank you so much, candidates. Are there any other questions? Please feel free to come up and ask. But also a reminder to the candidates themselves, you can ask each other a question as well.
Nobody's got questions? Anybody?
Look, it's the perfect time, ladies and gentlemen. This is for the first time in the city somebody is coming in as mayor. There's got to be something that you guys see or need, or some discussion that you want to have as far as what the goals are as people in the city. I mean, I understand that nobody's, wants to jump up and ask questions or ask, people things that you don't know. Maybe you're a little uncomfortable in front of public, but please, I encourage you all to ask as many questions as you can, because once this decision is decided, we're stuck with it for 60 days. It's not about personal opinion. It's about what you guys want to see and what you need for the city to be successful, so that it doesn't end up in a ghost town situation.
Okay, sir, yes, you have a question. Okay, this gentleman's question is, what do you plan to do for the elderly housing crisis?
That is an interesting observation. So the elderly housing crisis. I remember talking to you at the post office, and I've been thinking about that issue ever since you brought it up to me. There are some apartments here in the city that seem to be vacant at the time. We could look at creating some sort of program to try and acquire these, apartments and put into place a safe space for the elderly to go ahead and live and gather and get the services they need.
Well, I agree with Mr. Marino. I do believe that in an ever-changing world, of course, as we age, there's going to be more need for elderly care going forward. There are a lot of conditions that go along with, aging, and both mental and physical. So I do believe that it's appropriate to have certain specialties, people that can take care of the elderly and the problems that go along with aging. I do believe that the city does need to, have some kind of a facility that encompasses that housing. And I think as a community, with the focus on taking care of ourselves and each other, that that should be addressed and taken care of. I know I personally worked with the assistant DA as far as trying to figure out a way, but until we get government in place, decisions like that, it's going to take time. But I assure you, it's going to be addressed. We need to address all of those, but you have to get a government that's actually working and functioning before it can really be, labeled and taken care of.
Okay. We are doing just one question at a time, so just if you do have a follow-up question, we can obviously have you ask that in just a little bit, okay? Okay. Next up, ma'am, please come up.
I was just kind of wondering how you plan to implement, I guess, fair pay for newer citizens who are trying their hardest to catch up with everyone else who is already established and kind of buying up places and homes, is there maybe something that you can implement to make sure that everyone has a fair share, especially uh, in more, I guess, areas that are not as supported? I probably didn't ask that right, but
Oh, you articulated it very well. You want to take that, Marino?
Just on that last one, you can go ahead.
Yeah, sure. Okay. I agree with you on a lot of the concerns that you have as far as coming into the city, being behind the eight ball, trying to catch up. I don't think it's a matter of catching up. I think it's finding your place and taking advantage of the opportunities that are given to the people in the city. I think that opportunities have been, in my opinion, taken advantage of. I think the people that have been here the longest, that are in powerful positions that already currently own business, see that as an opportunity. And in a capitalistic environment that we live in, there's not much you can do about that legislatively. But what you can do is promote communities to take care of themselves and provide those communities with said opportunities that are unique to them so that they can better take care of their own place in this city. Nobody's going to take any better care of that than people from the South Side that live in the South Side. If they own business there, everything's autonomous and it flows. I think that's what the legislation needs to do, is focus on the individual areas of the island and give opportunities where they can present themselves. As far as things that I'm looking at to help and aid that, I believe that setting roots in the community and allowing you to achieve things, even though you're fairly new to the city, as soon as you can obtain a job, I think there should be some statewide funding, at least initially, to get people in housing. We need to get the housing situation in order, because then it's going to lay down roots and people are going to want to get in there and start working hard. They're going to take advantage of the opportunities in front of them and not expect a handout, but more of a hand up. And I think that's the job of the government, to create these opportunities, to go with the powers that be, to make informative decisions on things that are going to matter. I don't see the reason in buying a business if it's going to be left vacant. And I think if the sole purpose of buying a business is to later on, when the economy straightens itself out, take advantage of somebody else's opportunity to glean money for yourself, although it's a capitalism at its finest, it's a little bit hard on the morale of people that live in the city to wake up every day and go put in a hard day's work if those opportunities are taken away. And I think that the position should be more of, don't take more than you're willing to give. And that's kind of where my platform is. I'm no politician. I'm not trying to blow smoke up anybody's ass. But I am dedicated to making this city a great place to live and to have everybody have opportunities like you discussed, so that you can make your own way in the world.
That was very well said, Dr. Drake. Thank you for that. Like you said, a lot of, what we could do would not necessarily be legislative. We could attempt to do, one of the policies I was looking to implement was allowing local, if you live in a neighborhood and you're looking to purchase a business there, if you come to the state, show us your interest at doing stuff like that, we would create a stipend for you to help you purchase that business at a little bit of a cheaper rate. Now, as far as the developing communities and stuff like that, I do believe in free market society, and making sure that jobs are ever present. As your mayor, that would be something I'm very focused on, creating more jobs for everyone, even the new people coming into the city, making sure that they're compensated for their time fairly. Thank you.
Okay. Next in line, come on up.
You okay, Marino?
Hey everyone, Beebs Wolfowitz, Rebel Radio. I'd like to ask the candidates. Earlier you said that there was an idea for offering shared office space for small businesses. I'd like to dive a little more into the business side of things here then. If you could each give me a couple on three facets, how would you help the average 24/7 owner? What can you do for the larger businesses like Weasel or Benny's Autos? And lastly, what do you think needs to be done for the government jobs, such as PD or the medical? Thank you.
You want to go first, Marino?
Sure. Now, talking about the 24/7 ownerships and other small businesses like that, I know that there's a lot of talk of improving your relations with your vendors and improving your storefront, and how much that is going to cost you. I'd like to talk to our vendors and see if we can come to some sort of deal that allows our business owners a better avenue when it comes to revenue like that. As far as the bigger places like Weasel, the recording studio, the radios, that's something I would like to sit down with each one of them, talk to them personally, see their ideas on how we could further implement stuff that they believe would be better for their business than something I could come up with. As far as the PD and medical and stuff like that, that is all state-funded projects that we're going to have to work on closely to understand how much of the state budget is being allocated toward them. Make sure they're compensated fairly for the time, of course, and for the work they do here for the city. But it is something that will have to be scrutinized closely due to just the large amount of money that goes toward both those entities. Thank you.
All right. Mr. Beebs, I'd like to say this, all right, if I may. I think that nobody knows anything about your business. I certainly couldn't tell you how to run a 24/7. But what I would like to hope that we can set up some kind of a better business bureau, somebody that can aid in these things as they come up. Being the mayor and not knowing exactly what I'm going to be empowered to do for the business, other than maybe push things through if they make sense, maybe lighten the time turnaround so that people can actually get to work and start generating business. I'd like to think that this new government that we're voting on tomorrow is open to all the alleviating problems, situations that arise in business that we may not personally have information on, but together we can come up with solutions. Or we're empowered to listen to your problems and address those concerns one by one. It's my contention that this government, being so new, doesn't really know where any of that information lies. So for me to tell you, oh, we're going to wipe away all your business problems and do that would be a lie. Okay. It's not something that I particularly want to do, but I will say that getting your business involved with the community, it goes back to community for me. Making special deals, doing, staying active with the business is one of the biggest things that I see. I go to these businesses, and which brings up another point for me I can address after this, but I see far too many times there's nobody there to talk to about the business. You need something, you have a need, but there's nobody there to fulfill that need. So I think that those are things like Weasel News. I could easily say that it'd be beneficial to be, like they are in this debate, more active. Get out there in the community, develop those things. But because the city is so new, I think that those things are being developed. It's just a matter of taking the time to wait for them to come through and actually appreciate the things that they're developing for us to enjoy. So a lot of this to me is just a timing thing. Everybody wants to see their business just flourish right off the bat. Indeed, it takes time within the community for people to understand what your business is about for it to flourish. But my hope is that the government is open to understanding how important business is here and what those business needs are, and that people are very active in generating buzz about said business. And I really don't know, like I said, not knowing the confines of what our job's going to entail, I think there's going to be a lot of learning and exploration going forward in the next few days. So hopefully everybody's patient enough to endure that. But trust me, business is going to be one of the first things that anybody in this office, either myself or Marino, takes very seriously, because business is opportunity, opportunity is longevity, and it all feeds into one another. All right. So just be patient in there, Beebs. The people in this facility here know that that's a concern, and they're going to address it.
All right. Next in line, come on up, sir.
Hi, how's it going? So today we've talked a lot about job creation, business growth. Both of these things are fundamentally bottlenecked by federal government decisions. What will you do to influence your relationship with the federal government, and why do you think your approach will be effective? Thank you.
You know, as a business manager myself, I've been working closely with the government to solve any issues that come up with my business and other businesses here in the city. I have a good rapport with, you know, some state officials, and know how to talk to them to make sure things get changed. There's a lot that I'm looking to create as far as jobs, farms in the north, import-export businesses at the docks. And I know it's going to take time and patience, and, you know, work with state and government officials that I'm willing to put in, because I want to see this city succeed. I want to see the island thrive. Now, I know it'll take time. I know maybe not. It won't get done in my first term, but I'll surely try to make sure that things are approved and get work done. Thank you.
Well, again, some of these questions, I agree with a lot of what Marino's saying. I think a lot of it is looking at the processes in place. If things make sense, cut down the turnaround time, expedite some of the situations. If they make sense, it's not a big, heavy thing. Let's cut down on the process, get things flowing, get things moving, and then address all of those things. I mean, like you said, it's going to be communication and dialogue. It's going to be a willingness to give and take, to try and keep conversations flowing instead of bottlenecking. All right. You have to look at both sides. If it makes sense, see to it that it gets done. Like I said, it's about knowing right and wrong, and knowing when to, you know, slow down, when to be cautious about something. And there's some things that bleed so true that this is the right thing to do. Just get it done. Don't let the bureaucracy make somebody else pay in time and hard work. Let it flow through, you know, let it flow clean and through. There's no reason to stop things in progress if they make sense for all of us.
All right. Next up in line, if we have some more questions. We have another question. Thank you. You want me to read this? You want me to read this word for word? Okay. My bastard son shot me, causing me to lose all vocal function. What do you plan on doing to my bastard son? I suggest public execution.
You almost just killed the AG, just saying.
Alistair's not your son.
Well, Marino, being PD, I think you should probably field this one.
You know, as a former officer, I would hope that the DOJ and the police take that issue seriously and handle matters as they should. As your mayor, you know, I don't believe I would have any say in such a matter, but I do hope that you find justice, sir. And I know nothing can replace the damage that was done, so I'm sorry for what happened to you.
Well, Cletus, I can rest assured that I've had personal situations that have arisen, you know, due to aggressiveness and the aggressive nature that some of the citizens in the city rely so heavily upon. My only hope is that the PD and the judicial system takes care of those needs for you and sees justice. Again, it goes back for me as accountability. People make decisions based on things, and they need to be accepting of the accountability that goes along with whatever comes out of that. You make a decision, you're accountable for it, and there's going to be a punishment for it. You need to be accepting of all of the complete cycle of how things work like that. And as far as your vocal cords, like I said, once private practice is in, maybe I can have a look, give you a second opinion. Maybe we can see if we can't get that sorted out for you.
All right. Thank you for those answers, and thank you for the question. Next in line, ma'am, come on up. Oh, you want the note? You want the note, right? Yes, sir. There you go.
Okay. Hello there, everyone. Hello there, candidates. My question is, it's your first week in office. What are you doing?
You want to go for it?
Yeah, sure. First week in office. Well, obviously, I'm introducing myself to the city council. I'm creating a path of conversation. I'm trying to outline the definition of what the mayor is entitled to do to help the city. Once we glean that foundation of what the job entails, then it's about getting the focus on, creating a list, most important to least important, and trying to go down that list, working effortlessly and tirelessly to try and get everything sorted. Organization is going to be key. Getting through the conversations, trying not to, expect too much, and give enough time for people to get into their positions, get comfortable with who they're working with, and create lines of communication that will extend throughout this whole term of mayorship.
Very well said, Mr. Drake. I would have to agree with a lot of those points there. Communication with the city council would be key. Trying to set up, weekly times that we could all meet, get things done, get things voted on. But other than that, it would be for, getting acquainted with all the staff here at the city hall, understanding what my needs would be from entities such as the DOJ, the medical staff, police, anything that I could do to help in that sense, as well as then getting out there to the public and start talking to everyone out there and see what ideas and concerns that you have that I could help address.
Thank you for your answers.
Thank you for the question.
All right. Next in line, please come on up.
All right. So my question's pretty simple. It kind of touches back on the whole business aspect. What are your opinions on people having their hands in too many honeypots, so to speak? So like government officials owning businesses, government officials working with other government entities, police officers owning businesses, that kind of thing. People basically having their hands in too many cookie jars.
Want me to take this one, Marino?
Yeah, you can start.
Well, look, to me, it's capital. We live in a capitalistic environment, okay? You can't, fight against people wanting to, reach out. Some people want to divest themselves. I mean, it's a financial strategy that's been in place for a long time. I think that it becomes less about the fingers and pies that everybody's got their hands in and more about opportunities created so that you can create your own pies to delve your fingers into. I think that's where the focus should be. It shouldn't be on who's doing what or why they're doing something. I mean, I see so many things in the city, all right? That college over there where all these Wolfpack games are going on. Let's open up some opportunities there. There's people in the city that are forced to be in a situation that they're in because of economic pressures. All right. Let's face it. Let's address the concerns at hand. I mean, some people are in and they're driven to be doing the things they're doing because they're in debt. All right. You take people that are involved in criminal activity, for instance. Probably unbeknownst to a lot of people that the fines don't necessarily equate to the crime. I know I've talked to a lot of people, serving a lot of people in the hospital, and that seems to be an overlaying effect. I talked to an officer today out on the street, and the ability to adjust things is there. It's just not a matter that it's being taken care of. I mean, nobody's using their abilities to fluctuate accordingly. Everybody's stuck to this, certain idea of what it should be. And this kind of leads me down the path. All right. You want to talk about opportunity being essential to growth and expansion and diversification and all of these things. What about creating programs where people can change and they can take it upon themselves, opening up an accredited course, maybe for doctors coming in? We're talking about private practice, opening up some college classes so you can actually obtain a degree in whatever, business, medicine. We have people that are educated enough that could teach these things and give people opportunities based on what we already have in existence. Open up the school, let people learn, teach them a trade. There's all kinds of people that are creative and inventive that can lend to the city being prosperous. All right. Stop worrying about what everybody else is doing as long as it's above board. And, as long as they're doing things legally and respectfully to the growth of this city, let them do their thing. Focus on the communities, give the communities their own, benefit to keeping that business within the community. They're going to take care of it better than the guy in Vinewood that doesn't necessarily know what it's like to live in the South Side. Let the South Side take care and have opportunities to grow amongst themselves so that they can take pride in their community. That to me is what it's all about. Invest all you want. You have the right to do so. You've got the money, obviously, to do so. But when it comes to things like government, I'm not beholden to anybody. I don't make empty promises. I see a problem, I get shit done to the best of my ability. I'm not, in line with a bunch of people that are going to say, hey, you owe me, Drake. What are you going to do for me? Because I assure you, I'm no politician. And I'm not in this for me. I'm in this to set the foundation so that you guys can go forward living your lives with the hope of longevity, that this city's going to be here long after we're gone. And that's what's important to me about this. I see a need, I try to fill it. I wouldn't presume to tell you that I'm the politician that's going to lead this city to whatever. I don't know exactly what the job's going to entail, but I do know that I'm willing to roll up my sleeves and address all these concerns and give you guys the opportunity you need to be whatever you want to be in this town.
Thank you, Dr. Drake. Kind of back to addressing the question a bit, kind of too many hands in businesses for individuals, as it goes in America, that is part of the American dream, right? We all want to be successful in our own ways, and some of us are, not as successful as others when it comes to business, but we find our own successes. But I would hate to stifle any type of job creation, and as long as, like Dr. Drake said, everything is above board and no one's getting their hands dirty and acquiring all these types of businesses, and as long as they're facilitating jobs, I honestly don't see a problem in that. Now, as a business owner myself and looking to open another, my whole focus with those businesses isn't to make money or personal gain. It's to create communities and create job opportunities for people out there in the city. I have a few kids from the university for me, as well as people from all across the city, different walks of life, EMS, surfers up in Polito. I believe that as long as we're creating jobs and no one's trying to monopolize or take over a certain aspect of the city in that sense, I believe it's fair game. We do live in a free market, and more power to them. Thank you.
You mind if I just add something to that, Marino?
Yeah, sure.
Look, I think in business, anybody that sits there and tells you that the only reason I'm going into business is to, let everyone else prosper. I mean, I get that. But look, the bottom line is, look, let's be truthful. You go into business to make money. And if that business is in place to benefit the citizens as well, then everybody's happy. Okay. The only thing that concerns me with business is those that are solely intended to make profit off of somebody else's hardship. You buy a business knowing full well you're not going to really run the business, but you're going to wait until the economy straightens, you're going to charge twice the price. Yeah, it's capitalism. But is it something that you want as a common practice? Probably not for the growth of the city. Let's be honest. If you're above board, you're doing things like Mr. Marino for the benefit of the city. We understand, Dan, you're going to make money, and that should be the way that business is, because business strives and it makes you work harder if you're getting benefit from it somewhere down the line. Sure, benefiting the city is a residual effect, but let's not, take it to the point where I'm creating business solely for the purpose. Even if I lose money, as long as everybody else is happy, then I'm good. Because, look, I'm no rocket science or scientist, but there's a little bit of bullshit in there, and I get it. It's nice and flowery, and it says a good thing, but every business is entitled to make money. Just make the business right for other people to enjoy prosperity from it too, and then it's a complete cycle, and it makes sense.
All right. Go ahead and take the next question if you'd like to come up, ma'am.
I'm sorry if this has already been asked, but how do you plan on balancing the reactions of those in power, especially in the PD? A lot of people have expressed their experiences, warning me and a couple of friends of the unprofessional behaviors they've experienced with PD, stories of those higher in ranks being responsible for murders, unfair power plays, uncomfortable interactions, and sexual advances, yet they're still in rank. I also haven't been here long and I don't partake in illegal activity, but I can say that I have been approached by officers whose immediate reactions to small mistakes are hostile behaviors and aggression.
No, a lot of you I met out there while I was a police officer. I think a lot of you can attest that I always put the community first when it came to policing. That's definitely something I am well aware of. Some of the things that you had just brought up, and part of the reason why I was willing to put down my badge. There was another time where I took extreme issue with what was going on, and was very close to leaving the PD before this whole mayoral thing came into play. I will be making sure that DOJ keeps a very close eye on these complaints, and that all officer complaints do also get into the DOJ's system, and they're not just handled internally, as you could see a bit of bias coming into play if that were the case. I do really understand the concern there. There's been quite a bit that's happened the past few months that if I was in a higher position of power in the PD, I would not have agreed with, and definitely made some changes. Thank you.
Well, I can speak pretty closely to this situation that you're referring to, ma'am. I too have had some personal experience with having my life threatened, having guns put in my face, and the reply of the officer indicating that it was my problem, that I came to the South Side post office to get my mail, and through conversation subsequently incited a member of the South Side community to violence. So upon that, I went down and went through the process of reporting. I believe that the problem right now is a lack of training, a lack of unifying training, but it goes back to time again. I think the PD has things in place that's going to alleviate a lot of that situation. A lot of these cops that are out there doing, silly things are going to be held accountable for their actions. And I mean more so than just, hey, you know what? You committed a crime, and now we're going to go ahead and stay the sentence. And if you're good for the next 60 days, then you can come back and be a police officer again. It's my intention that that should never happen. I mean, there are a lot of things that I think about the PD, and I think for the most part, it's a good group of people. Yes, there are one-offs that, take that power amongst themselves and do with it what they will. And it's a tragedy when it occurs. Trust me, I've been through it. I went down to create a report about the officer that blamed me for some kid waving a gun in my face, and with the officer right in front of me telling me that I'm going to smoke this doctor, and did really virtually nothing about it. So when I did go down and complain, I was told that, hey, you know what? If you were telling me I wasn't effective at my job, I'd tell you to go fuck yourself too. Which left a pretty bad sore spot in my throat. I didn't lack that appreciation or lack of appreciation for me being a law-abiding citizen and then being accused of starting the conflict. But as we stated, I think it's a matter of time. They have an academy in place. Once the officers are trained, that's going to equate to better police officers. All right. Police officers that are trained equally and know exactly how to handle certain situations. That occurrence should happen less and less as time goes on. But let's not lose faith in the police department. I think at their core, they're a good group. They take a lot of heat. And like I said, without the permanent positions, I think people are going to be more accountable to hold those officers and make sure that that's taken care of, or their job could be in question. And I think once we have that, it's going to make a lot of people be a little more proactive as to what the expectation is and what the delivery is.
All right, sir, go ahead and ask your question.
My question to you two is, do you have any ideas or plans on improving communication here throughout the city,
Yeah, I can take that one. After talking, in fact, with you, sir, and your idea, I really loved it. Using some of the postal boxes out there around the city to be able to send out letters instead of having to, rush to a post office just to communicate. If you're able to write a letter right there, just put it in the postal box. They're found all around the city, outside of important community spots, important businesses, stuff like that. That would be much simpler to, get in touch with people instead of having all to rush to one spot. And sometimes those post offices get a little overcrowded. But that was a great conversation we had, and I really appreciated that thought. So that's something. If I were to get elected, I definitely would be seeing if we could implement. Thank you.
Yeah, I believe always that communication is key. I know working at the hospital, we had concerns with some of the city services not having the ability to communicate with one another. These tow trucks not having radios that can be dispatched through PD to take care of cars, abandoned vehicles, things of that nature. An efficient transportation system, taxi cabs not being able to be, put out there on people that are in need of a ride, things like that. But not knowing exactly what the infrastructure of the city is, it would be remiss for me to promise things like that. But these things are all being addressed. And I think that as we get the new government in, these concerns will be answered, and in due time, everything will be alleviated. So I think that's the main focus, and I think that's what we need to worry about. Just give it a little time, everything will be in place.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay,
Yeah,
we
there
have a
might
question
be-
over here.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, go ahead.
Okay.
I'm Dr. Sylvia Lipschitz of the LSMHC. So, my question is, it's really a two-part question. So, my first question is, what are the needs for the mental health in this city of ours? And what are your plans to try and help people out who are suffering with mental illness? And my second part to that question is, are you aware that any lofty promises that are being made by a mayoral candidate will be taken serious? And there are people from the grassroots movements which I may or may not have been a part of in '68 when I burned my bra, but that's neither here nor there, that will take you up on each and every single thing you promise, and will hound you for the entirety of your stay in office to make sure that those promises are held. And how will you try and take responsibility for all the promises you've made?
As well as we should as politicians. To be lied is one of the worst things. I understand that, Doctor. And I would not stand up here and make fallacies and false promises that I don't think I would have the capability of fulfilling. Now, to address your first question, as I spoke to at the last debate, I would look to create a program up at I believe it's Parsons, correct? Up there in the hills to create a safe space for any mental health work that the hospital would look to be doing, and support and help in any way I can with the mental health staff to make sure that they're able to do their jobs to the best of their abilities.
All right, doctor. Speaking from the medical profession, I think it's crucial that we make sure that you have the ability and every tool within your arsenal to address the mental health of all the people in the city. You need your own facility. And this goes back to me saying, when you see a need, it makes sense, make it happen. I can assure you that I've made no empty promises in this mayoral run of mine because I don't know what the job entails. And I've tried to be honest and open with everybody that I've spoken to. The one thing that I can say without certainty is I'm in no one's pocket and no one is in mine. I make the decisions that I make because I want that to be very clear. I'm here for the people in the city and for the longevity of the city. I find it crucial that you get a facility that is separate from that of Pillbox, that your professionals are allowed to do their thing, and I don't see why it's taken so long to make this happen. Parsons is there. It's available. You have all the things in your arsenal as far as the professionals that work for you. You are running the mental health facility better than anything I've seen in the past. Give you the tools to take it. You are very well capable of taking care of the citizens that are in your care and in need of your services. Make it happen. That's my goal. I'm not concerned with any of the empty lies or promises that I've made because I've made none. I've held true to myself, and I am a candidate that, yes, a lot of people that I deal with think I'm an asshole. Personal bias, whatever. You can think that personally. But as a whole, I want somebody that's willing to make a stand where a stand needs to be made. I don't care what the circumstance is. I want somebody that can make the communication flow so that we can cut down on the back and forth and the arguments of things that just make sense. Let's make the decision of right and wrong and get it done so people of the city can benefit from it. It's okay. Politicians and Department of Justice and all of the people and powers that be can have the communication, but let's not stick to it to a degree that it takes time away from the needs of the city. Period. Bar none. I think that's crucial. We as individuals make more problems than there really are. It's a need. Let's fill it.
Thank you.
All right, if there's any other questions, now's the time.
All right. Yeah, go ahead.
chance. Fucking beautiful, man.
Yeah, I was at the trash parade that helped raise some funds there for the fire department. I look very much looking forward to another emergency service added here in the city that is needed. I know saw a trailer fire the other day that was quite quite dramatic. Thankfully, I don't think anyone was injured at the time, but stuff like that, we definitely need another emergency service responding to calls like that to make sure that everyone out here is as safe as can be. I'm looking forward to the addition of the volunteer fire department.
Again, for me, it falls back on see a need, fill it. Yes, crucial services, search and rescue. We need lifeguards to patrol the oceans. There's divers out there that are fucking drowning every day. Let's get some lifeguards out there patrolling. Let's get some search and rescue. Fire department, absolute necessity. All right? I mean, look, I'm standing here in front of you trying to field every question that you come up with. I can flower things up for you, or I can get directly to the point. Whether you choose myself or Marino or the other, candidates that didn't really want to come up here and voice their opinions. Personally, like it, love it, take it for what it's worth. Both of us are probably very capable of getting the job done. I don't have anything else. I want to get things done expeditiously. There's no need to wait on the fire department. I mean, let's get it all, in legislation. Let's get the SOPs. Let's figure out what your course of action is going to be and get it in. Get those people out there saving lives. God knows there's a lot of shit happening in the city that's hurting people every day. Let's just address it. Let's stop flowering it up. Let's stop, grabbing the straws and lighting the cigarettes and blowing smoke up people's asses. We know what's the right thing to do. Let's just fucking do it.
Ask any questions?
Can I ask the question from back here? Well, I mean, I don't want to.
Yes, if you can stand up and let us know where you are.
Sorry, my friend here just wants to know if there will be a pay rise in welfare, and if there is, will it be applied to the terms of the mayor, or will it be permanent?
That'll definitely have to be
No,
something.
That's something I'd like to add. So, we already have jobs and we have our cool downs, but we work throughout our whole entire awakening. So we're still making as much money as we can. So it's not like we're just standing around collecting welfare checks. I just wanted to add that.
Thank you. We understand that it's tough out there to make money. My time as a civilian, I've come to understand that even more. Now, looking at the welfare, that's something we're going to have to talk to a lot of people about. As a mayor, we're going to have to sort out quite a bit that first month budgets, state, pay and stuff like that before something like welfare can probably be looked at. That is an increase in welfare will definitely be discussed, but I'm not going to make any promises as far as that goes.
And just speaking to that, again, we don't know what duties the mayor is going to be responsible for. Absolutely. Economy is going to be a hot topic. And everything is going to be addressed in due time. It's not fair for us to give you an answer definitively on that because we don't know if we're even going to be in control of something like that. Do I think that there's a problem there? Absolutely. Do I think that you should go out there and your main focus be on your daily life to make sure that you can make all the money that you can? No, I don't believe that should ever be the focus. All right. Let me just make this abundantly clear. I think that it's our job as a governing body to address all these concerns. You guys want to have work-life balance. I think it's imperative, especially if it goes along with mental health. I'm sure I'm sure that anybody can tell you. It doesn't matter a specific doctor. They can all tell you that when you're stress-free and you're living a life and you find a job that you love to do, everything is better. Your health is better. Your mental outlook is better. Your life is better. So again, we can't give you bullshit. We can't tell you, yes, I'm going to raise welfare. And anybody that does is lying to you. Hold us accountable. That's all I can say. Make sure you come into the office, whether it's an open door policy or whatever. Speak your voice. We're going to end up driving the needs that you have. Come in, talk to us. Everybody here is more than accessible and more than open to a conversation. We just can't wave a magic wand and make everything go away. It's going to take time, and it's going to take a community. We're going to have to go through this together and have that conversation. Point us in the direction of where your needs lie, and the people that are responsible for getting it done will get it done. And if it's not me, I'll make sure the person that is making that decision is very well aware and focused on alleviating that situation for yourself. Okay.
Okay. If that finishes up the public questions,
Someone else took it.
I will go ahead and open it up for you guys to ask each
Right.
other one question.
You want to ask me first, Dan, or?
Yeah, you can go first.
I mean, look, I'm going to be honest. I think that a lot of what we say is agreement. I think that for the most part, we're after what's best for the community. I think it comes down to your people's opinions and how much you're willing to hold accountable the people that are empowered to make the decisions that you want them to make. All right. I personally am all about accountability. I'm all about creating transparency. Like I said, I have not aligned myself with anyone. I have only taken care of the people that I care to take care of through medical means. Where I see a problem, I fit in and try and alleviate the problem for the betterment of the city. I make a lot of money. I did. I look forward to money being a thing that is residual of my career path. I drive a nice car. I'm not trying to blow smoke up anyone's ass. I got a nice vehicle, but I have a house that I can't really access. You all do. And we're trying to alleviate all of those concerns as well. But at the bottom line, this is your decision to make. Okay. Dan is wanting to do what's best for the city as well. Although we have different ways of doing it, I hope that he hasn't aligned himself with people that are expecting favors. And I hope that his government position, if he is voted mayor, doesn't imply that he's doing somebody else's bidding. I mean, that's my concern with anybody. I think that people that are taking this job should take it seriously. It's the first time it's been introduced in the city. And in my opinion, it's going to be the most important time that this happens. Everything else, the person's going to be able to hit the ground running based on what we do as a mayor for the city. So that being said, I mean, I could sit here and cause several different situations. Dan's been around here a lot longer than I have. He's more entrenched in the community. He knows more people. So as far as that goes, personal bias, I think Dan's a good guy. He's somebody that I personally would love to go down to the beach, have a conversation, and crack a beer with if I were to drink. I don't, so maybe a soda, right, Dan?
Yeah, there you go.
But I truly hope that your position in the city is used to the benefit of the people of the city, not for better, higher, powerful interests. Okay. I think that there's a lot of things that can go wrong setting up the mayoralship. And I think that it's up to you guys to decide for yourselves where you want the direction of the city to be. I don't think you can go wrong with, either one of us. We have different approaches and we have very different ideas on how to achieve the successes that we're looking to inspire. So I appreciate the time. I really do. Hopefully you guys make the right decision and the decision that best suits the city. And I hope that going forward, this is a place that we all want to wake up to, we all want to make roots in, and we all live the way that we want to live based on our choices. Thank you for the time. I appreciate you guys showing up and being here to ask the questions.
I guess thank you for that question, Dr. Drake, if it was in there somewhere. But, you know, I have been around the city for a minute, and I've made connections with all types of people. You know, that just speaks to my willingness to work with anyone, regardless of the past. But as far as affiliations go, the only affiliation I have is here with the city and making sure that I do the right thing as your first mayor. Now, I'm not going to go on and ramble here, as I know we've been here for quite some time. My leg is absolutely killing me right now. So I just want to say thank you to everyone. Thank you to the moderators. Thank you to the cameramen. I appreciate everyone coming down. And I really, really would love to be your mayor and do what's right for the city. Thank you.
All right. That does wrap things up. Thank you guys so much for coming down to this debate. And remember, tomorrow voting does open. So use your voice and remember to vote.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for your
Yeah,
time.
thanks for the opportunity, guys. Thanks for moderating, Ruby. I appreciate that.
Of course.
Everybody keeping simple.
Sit down. Come here.
Good work.
Sit down.
I wish I had a car.
Oh, people are leaving. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.